Hi, my name is Rosalie Cochran, and I'm affiliated with the band Boxcar Gospel from Eden, North Carolina. Our band is alternative and blues, actually a wide variety of different styles, um, all in one band. Lately, we have been discussing paranormal events. We've had a lot of things happening here in our apartment in this general vicinity, where we have our practice room and all of our practices and recordings. Eventually, we will try to capture some of the things that have been happening here around us and try to get them on video or photographic stills or other things of that nature. But for now, we're going to attempt to tell the stories of all the different things that have happened. And with so many things happening, it's difficult not to think that you're going crazy or that there may be something else going on. But since it's such a shared experience among all of us, we're trying to record it as we can to share it with everyone else and get their take on it, have feedback, maybe have other people come and share this experience with us also. Potentially people with equipment like EVP readers and paranormal investigative stuff. That would be nice. But either way, since there's been so much going on, and throughout my life there's been a lot of paranormal activity, a lot of different stories. My family's stories and folklore all have an element of that magical, mystical kind of tale. So I was introduced to that early on, but my first memorable experience with the paranormal or that which cannot be explained by science or medicine happened with my grandmother. And I was with her every day from the time that I was 1 year old. She kept me. And we would watch Sesame Street, and she taught me how to read and write, and loved to read and tell stories too. But one day, she was making chicken noodle soup on the stove, and I was 4 years old. It was right before I started school, and I wanted to see what was in the pot, and I was very curious. So I lifted myself up onto the stove, and I reached up and grabbed the handle of the pot. And when I did, it tipped the pot over, and it spilled all over my right thigh. And it was boiling. I could hear the sound of the boiling water, like, in the pot. So I know that it was boiling. It was that hot. And when it hit my skin, it was excruciatingly painful. I was screaming and writhing all over the floor. And she ran towards me to comfort me. And then she called my mother to take me to the hospital. And after she got off the phone with my mother, she grabbed me up like this and ran from the kitchen where we were to the back room, where she would go to pray and be alone. And she prayed a lot. She was a very religious woman. She believed completely in God and miracles and angels, prophetic dreams. She even believed herself to be a witch, a natural witch. In many facets. So anyway, so she grabs me up and she's holding me like this. And once we get to the back room, she starts talking and saying words, and they were words that I did not recognize. They could have been another language or speaking in tongues, but she would say a few words and then be silent. And then she'd say a few more words and be silent. And then she touched my thigh where the injury was, where the burn was. And then after that, there wasn't any more pain. By the time my mother got there to take me to the hospital, I was not crying or screaming anymore. And I remember once we did get to the hospital, I was sitting on the hospital bed, and they gave me a little finger puppet, and I was playing around with it. There wasn't any pain. I wasn't crying as they dressed my wound. And they put the gauze and the burn cream and all the stuff that they normally would do for a burn victim. But Anyhow, the next morning I went home and everything was fine. The next morning, when my grandmother went to redress the wound as they had instructed for her to do, she went to rub the skin that had blistered with the burn cream and everything else, and when she rubbed it, all of the blistered skin just rubbed straight off, and there was pink new skin underneath. It was smooth, but it just rubbed right off and didn't even hurt. So I believe that normally healing like that would take quite some time. And I think that the act of her talking the fire out of that wound healed me. And I don't know whether if it was the power of her prayer or the concentrated energy or her touch after that much focus or the fact that she truly believed that it would heal me, but it did. And she, till the day that she died, she believed wholeheartedly that that type of medicine and belief was superior to the medical world. Now, she didn't renounce doctors in the medical world. In fact, she went to see her doctors and she took medication. And she did those things also, but she believed that the old way was superior to the new medicine. And, you know, truthfully, as far as a personal connection and things like that, old style medicine really was superior. I mean, the doctors came to your house and they had a personal connection with you. And I think there was probably some validity in the fact that people would heal a lot more quickly and a lot more, I don't know, naturally in their own environment, you know. But I digress about the topic. I really would like to hear other people's accounts of having the fire talked out of burns and whether or not this has happened to anyone else and they were healed in that way. And I would also like to hear other first-hand accounts and maybe talk to someone that knows the practice well and could explain what it is that they're actually saying or doing, what the process is. Now, I've been told that it has to go from generation to generation, and a woman has to teach a man, and that man has to teach a woman. So it has to go from gender to gender. But I don't know the exact process or how it is taught. I just know that it works. Anyhow, I'm with Boxcar Gospel and the Moonkind music group, and we are in Eden, North Carolina. Feel free to comment or contact us. We will be adding a lot more videos, music videos, and paranormal videos. We'll also be talking about conspiracies, extraterrestrials. Pretty much any topic is open. We do have some favorite topics though. So anyhow, just give us a listen and contact us, and have a good night.